Hello, strangers. Back again, are you? Back for another creepy, terrifying tale. It's that time again, isn't it? Yes, so close to Thanksgiving now. Time for another story of Gobble, Gobble. The last stories were fun, weren't they? But guess what? He's back again. Or is he? Warning, if you don't like horror, please turn off this video. It's not for you. It's morning and a man jumps out of bed and he runs his fingers through his messy brown hair. He was smiling in the shower. As he steps out, he wraps a towel around himself while he's whistling a tune. Then he crams his toothbrush into his mouth, humming while he's still cleaning his teeth. Then he goes back into his bedroom and he stares at a little red box. He goes over to his drawers and he pulls out some clothes, but couldn't help himself but look over at the little red box once again, with the towel wrapped around him, water running from his face. He walks over to it, picks it up and opens it. A beautiful red diamond ring sitting on a silky pillow. He smirks as he stares down into the box. He goes and sits on the side of the bed, thinking about how lovely Thanksgiving is going to be this year. How lovely Thanksgiving is, and a wonderful day to propose to his girlfriend and ask her to move in with him. He walks over to the mirror, holds out the box, holds out the ring towards the mirror. Charlotte, will you marry me? His towel slips off and he chuckles to himself. Oops, can't have that happening, he says. He closes the box and smiles as he gets dressed. He had only a few days to get everything ready. He invited his friends and family over to his small flat for Thanksgiving. But it wasn't like he had many friends, just his mate Kevin and his girlfriend Jane, that's best friends with Charlotte. And of course, he invited his parents too. Charlotte's parents died when she was a little girl. She was only 11 years old when this happened. She doesn't know, but he had to look into it. She wouldn't talk about her past. But when he did, he found out some horrible things. He wanted to understand why Charlotte hated the holidays. It hurted her so much. He wanted to understand why she was still having counselling after all this time, and she was on medications to help her with it too. It was all over the news. Her little sister was killed in the most horrendous way on Christmas. Well, her whole family was. By a weird person, a weird man, and they called him Turkey Tom. So Charlotte was never really into the season spirit from a very young age. But this year, he wanted to change that. That day went fast. He worked in a cafe, but he did spend his lunch break looking around for cheap shopping places where he could get discounts on food. He had never cooked for so many people before. He gulped and then thought about messing up the proposal somehow on that day. He wanted this day to be perfect. Thinking about the pressure of the day made him hot and restless. Ring ring, he pulled his mobile out of his pocket. An old phone with a crack on the screen. Said, Kevin calling. He smiled as he answered. A voice shouted,
Hello? You're ready for Thanksgiving, bro? Are you ready to pop the question? Pop the question,
Kevin was very outspoken about everything, but he had been friends with Kevin since school and was the only other person that knew about the Thanksgiving plans. You know, about the proposal.
I can't wait for Turkey Day.
Kevin said, laughing. Are you still meeting me later at the shop after work?
Yeah, I'll pick you up after you finish at the cafe, mate. Have to go to Coleyes, dudes, bye.
And he hangs up the phone. What have I got myself into? He thought to himself. Kevin works for a pest control unit in the next town. The day went on with the regular customers. The day felt like it was over before it even began. He closed up the cafe. It was dark, and the only light there was from a small lamp outside the front of the small cafe. The cold wind blows against his face, then suddenly just stops, and snow starts falling from the sky. It looks like big pieces of fluffy candy floss drifting to the ground in big chunks. Blinding light comes towards him, heavy bass vibrations, and a dim thumping sound. He squints in the light and sees a small white van that seems to appear in front of him in seconds. Wipers zooming. Boom, boom, boom goes the bass. Back and forth go the window wipers. On the van door, there is a picture of a rat and a slogan that says, "We kill any pest, big or small." The door opens. Drum and bass booming. Kevin yells over the music,
Mate, get in. Mate, get in, it's fucking freezing.
He looks over and he's just about to speak.
Yeah, the big day.
Kevin yells by turning hard around the corner. Wheels slide in the now laying snow.
Wow, this snow is fake, man. It's really fake, bro.
It's so dark and the wind is picking up and the snow is falling in bigger lumps, floating down onto the window screen. The roads were empty and dark, and now the town was covered in a towel of whiteness.
Damn, I can hardly see anything out there.
The snow was making it almost impossible to see a thing. Almost impossible to see the road ahead at all.
What the fucking hell is this?
Kevin's yelling again and stops the van. Get out of the road! He opens the door and starts yelling.
Get out of the road, I almost hate you.
He opens the door to the van and Kevin is yelling again.
Just move out of the road.
The figure is standing with its back turned. Gobble, gobble! It starts to move, faces them, and then runs off. Kevin gets back in the van and slams the door.
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was wrong with that fucker's face? And what the fuck does gobble gobble mean?
They both look at each other in complete confusion. Kevin starts up the van again and drives. Kevin turns and looks at him.
Maybe we should hang at your house. While we're waiting for this damn thick snow to stop.
After a while, they reached the block of flats. Snow falling thick and fast as they pull up outside. And then look at the amount of snow that was forming on the ground. Bang, bang, bang! There was banging sounds coming from the back of the van.
What the fuck is this now?
They both opened the van doors and walked towards the back end of the van, but both the back doors were wide open. Both stood there, looking at the doors confused.
This is one fucked up night.
Yells Kevin. Then out of nowhere, they both look startled at each other. They look around to try and find where the noise is coming from. At the exact same time, a sound comes from underneath the van. Kevin bends down and there's a turkey just laying on the floor just underneath the van. There, just sitting there in the snow. Then all of a sudden, two hands appear on the bumper from underneath it. And then a body that seems to be attached to the turkey somehow. A turkey that's attached to a human body. It drags itself from under the van, pulling itself by the bumper and dragging its way out. Then, in a split second, turns and pulls Kevin's legs onto the wet snow. And in a heartbeat, the turkey stands and pulls off its turkey legs from its head. He lifts his skinny arms up high, holds the turkey legs in the air, leans over Kevin, and spludge. The chicken legs go straight into Kevin's eyes. Blood splatters everywhere. The white snow. All of a sudden he's running, trying to find his keys in his pocket for the flat where he lives. And all the time hearing a loud gobble gobble door and opens it and runs up the stairs. He lives on floor 5, needs to get to his flat, so he runs up the stairs, all the time hearing a loud gobble gobble right behind him, echoing up the staircase. He runs up the staircase as fast as he can. He could feel himself sweating, and he finally gets to his flat. His hands shaking, he finds his keys, then drops them in a shock as a loud gobble gobble. It sounded like it was right next to him. He panics, picks up the keys and opens the door and slams it closed behind him. He was panting deep breaths. He walked over to the window. He looks out to see the van just over the road. Blood all over the floor in the snow. And he noticed there looked like lines of blood heading from the van towards the flat. Trails. Like Kevin's body had maybe been dragged over. He peers down and sees the trails go all the way to the flat. Gobble gobble! Gobble gobble! He thought about climbing down to the van, driving somewhere safe, going to the police station. Panic washes over him as he realizes in that moment his best friend was dead and got killed. There was an old tree just by the window. He needed a plan. Bang, bang, bang! There was banging on the door. He felt for his pockets for his phone, but he left it in the van. He ran to his cupboard and pulled out a big rope. Big brown rope. The tree was a good jump away from the window, so he thought the rope might protect him if he missed. As he was doing this, the noises from the door were getting louder. Bang, bang, gobble, gobble! And then, all of a sudden, a different sound. It sounded like a drill. He panicked as the door started to move, like it was almost being cut open by something, or something being drilled. He ties the rope over a pipe, and the other side of the rope around his waist, and hurries back to the window. Then he turns around and looks at the door again, but the door is wide open. But there's nothing there. Quietness fills the room. Had he gone? He looks down at the rope around his waist. He looks at the window and then looks at the door again. Was it worth the risk of jumping if Turkey Tom had gone? Panic sets in. He starts darting his eyes around the room, thinking about what his next move should be, waiting almost for something to happen. And of course, it did. Gobble gobble! The light of the hallway shined behind a figure. So weird, so strange. It was Turkey Tom standing with an electric meat cutter clenched in his hands. Turkey Tom runs, stands on the rope, stopping him from getting anywhere, lifts up the meat cutter and cuts off both his arms, dragging the blade back and forth, blood spraying all over the ceiling and walls, sickening screams of pain. Turkey Tom then pulls the rope up around his neck and kicks him out of the window while he stands on the rope. So he is back again. Time for the holidays, of course. How many people has he killed now? Quite a few, I think. And the numbers are definitely going up and up. I hope you have a horrible Thanksgiving and have a gross day. Goodbye. See you next time or in your nightmares.